Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Boldly Going. And today we're going to be talking about Voyager again. It is Merlin here, and I have Dan and Justin here, the Film Fanatics.
Hello.
How's it going?
Today we're going to be talking about The Cloud, which is a Neelix-centric episode. And since Justin was so excited about it pre-show, we're going to have him do the synopsis and his initial thoughts.
But we're not, Joe. We talked about this last week.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But I remember you were extremely excited last week. So I remembered, I noted it, and said, anticipation-wise, give me a synopsis and your thoughts, please.
And being really the first one to sort of address the central thing that the pilot focused on, obviously being stuck out in deep space and quite literally exploring everything. Mm-hmm. We have Neelix sort of doing his shtick on the in the galley, and eventually approaching Janeway and asking, "Hey, are we ever going to get home?" Until they sort of crash into a kind of life form, and things get out of hand.
Standard next gen.
Standard everything, really? No.
Star Trek, really. Yeah, it's true.
All right, but let's get to it. I think with this one, it's sort of another textbook case of Voyager just does not have a lot of good writing.
Ooh.
And I think it really shows in this one particularly. It starts off with Neelix just being kind of a jerk, for lack of a better word. And up to this point, he's been whiny, but I've at least sort of been okay with him.
You're starting to see it now. In
this one, it's like, it's not your fault that you literally signed up for this. Why are you complaining? When they actually do decide to focus on the sci-fi stuff with the whole cloud, the whole organism thing, mm-hmm. It's a little bit interesting, but the whole like side drama thing with, okay, we're out in deep space. I'm glad that we're finally touching base with the like, okay, we're way out in space where really no one else has touched upon. And the reasoning of how they sort of explain it to Neelix is good. It's just, I feel like there were so many much better, more subtle ways of handling that. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I just sort of felt the entire experience dragging.
Okay.
I mean, Janeway's still Janeway. I think she's a good character. It's just I wish the material was working better. Overall, I'd say this was a very meh episode. I leave this one with a C.
All right. Dan, thoughts?
Well, Justin, you forgot the whole reason they went to the nebula in the first place, because maybe they had coffee, and Janeway needed some coffee. Because Joe's so mad right now. Because Neelix's homebrew that's better than coffee, she wasn't interested in.
It's alien.
First of all, in the very first scene of this episode, Neelix is like, "Listen, Janeway, here's how you captain. You take this fake coffee and you like it, so that way it sets an example for everyone. Am I wrong, people?" And she's just like, "Okay, I'm leaving."
Cool story, bro.
Like right from the start of this episode, I'm just like, all right, first of all, kill yourself, Neelix. You're the worst. I can't do it with him at all.
Oh, good.
And then, when they find out the nebula is like I didn't want to say human, but a living being.
Organism.
An organism.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, it's not a human being, but I just sort of thought, all right, well, that's at least Trek-y. That makes, it's very basic, very common theme, like we said. Uh-huh. And they didn't do anything particularly fascinating with it. And Neelix was really annoying the whole episode. Oh. So I'm actually a little bit lower than you, Justin. I leave it with a C-.
Oh, wow.
Joe?
Well, I mean, it definitely... the thing that frustrates me about Voyager is that kind of something Justin touched upon is that in this episode, they touch a little bit on the whole we're in deep space, really far away, and there's some good drama there that Voyager... you'd think would deal with early on. Mm-hmm. Or at least, use the whole fact, like, we're at least really far out here, let's at least explore, since that's part of our mission anyway. And it's just not handled particularly well here. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad you guys are finally starting to see why Neelix is so hated. Because in context...
yeah, I didn't care for him at all.
Like, he's this guy who they picked up, they saved, basically. Joined the crew. And he's the cook. Even though they... don't even necessarily need him. He's dictating missions based on
How about when he became
coffee.
the rah-rah, what do they call it? The not morality.
Morale officer?
Yeah, the morale officer.
Why would you... he's never even been in Starfleet.
Self-appointed, by the way.
And that's the thing. And
which everyone's kind of okay with, I might add.
And that's part of the problem with the writing, which you said, which is an issue some people have with Janeway, is that she's allowing this. And like I said, she walks away. She walks away.
She does.
But she doesn't really, put him down like you should. Like, talk to the captain.
Listen,
like,
if somebody... I was just going to say, Picard is my example. If freaking, Deanna Troi walked on in there and said, Picard, how about you do it this way, you loser? Like, what do you think you're doing?
We're straight to quarters.
He would smack her, put her into the quarters. Yeah,
airlock.
It's like,
this wouldn't be pretty.
It's like you'd be disciplined for that. You'd be shoved in like, the best for like a couple days.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this one is just kind of irritating. There's really nothing special here. I'd leave it with a D+. I don't particularly like it that much.
Even lower.
I mean, I like... So there are some things that they kind of touch on, which they do touch on later, involving the exploration.
Okay.
Which I do like when they interact with other people, but...
Not this time.
Personally, I just wish they would have... They don't delve in it that quickly. You'd think they'd be doing that right away.
Don't.
That is the whole main point of Voyager, and that's why eventually they give up and they just completely inject something later.
Is that right?
Because I won't spoil it because it's a pretty big deal, but you guys might know about it, but they kind of
I don't know anything about Voyager, so...
they abandon the whole we're far away thing and they introduce a villain. It's kind of a DS9, a main villains to deal with instead. A couple times.
But here's what really was like driving this one down for me straight out the gate. Was Voyager was starting to get good.
Kind of like the
last couple actually were decent.
It's like, where were these episodes like 3 months ago? And then comes this episode, and it's like, why?
Well, there's
this series could actually be okay.
No, it's just one episode in the bunch. Look, I'm not going to fault. I think most shows, when they first start out, there's a couple of bad ones in the first season. They're getting their footing.
I read an article today, actually, that said that, with all the series, Star Trek did like 700 episodes or something. You're going to have a few bad ones.
There's going to be some bad ones in the mix.
Naturally.
Yeah. So, this isn't one of the better ones. I don't think it's like among the worst. There's some pretty horrible Voyager episodes, which you guys will witness.
Great.
Just purely dumb stuff happens. But that's later, It's still better than Next Gen right now.
Actually, overall, I would say that's true.
Still sad.
But I like the characters better in Next Gen. And that's probably because of my attachment to them.
I was going to say, is that in context with who they become?
I mean, it's hard to say because I don't have the other perspective.
I suspect that you don't like Voyager as much comparatively because of Tupac. You don't like the Vulcan Tupac?
I hate Tupac. Tupac makes me angry. But I like Robert Picardo a lot.
That's right, you like the Doctor.
So, I mean, it's a balance.
I don't know, guys. Well, that's something to actually discuss we haven't talked about. Do you guys think you have a favorite group of characters so far? Is it Next Gen for you, Dan?
For me, it's easily Next Gen. But again, I mean, I have attachment to them. And then because of my attachment to the original series, I would say, obviously, they're my second favorite.
Okay.
But I guess based on the episodes we have seen...
Like thus far. As a group?
Probably TOS is my favorite as a group.
Huh. Okay.
I think thus far they're the most defined, and maybe that's because they're a smaller group. I think there's sometimes too many people in Deep Space Nine and Voyager, and I don't know who everybody is quite yet after 5 or 6 episodes.
You sort of have to refamiliarize yourself.
They've really established, I think, in TOS, the core, 4 or 5 people pretty well already. What would you say, Justin?
Yeah, what do you think?
I mean, I want to say DS9, but I struggle with that answer only because I'm not entirely sure if that's a fair answer, knowing, okay, TOS is the Enterprise, Next Gen is the Enterprise, DS9 is a space station, ergo, much bigger cast. And Voyager is a different ship.
Voyager.
Yeah, the Voyager.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if I had to pick, I would say DS9 just because I like the vast diversity and the interplay amongst them. But in context to the rest of the Star Trek crews, I legitimately don't know if that's the most legitimate answer.
Well, that's fine. I mean, I'm just thinking thus far, well defined.
Yeah.
I think 10 episodes, or it's pretty.
No, I mean,
pretty good.
They've covered the main crew. It's just obviously there are some that are more centric than others.
It's true. I mean, TOS, you've got the main 3 to focus on.
Yeah, I mean, really, you've got Kirk down, you've got Spock down, you've got Bones down.
Haven't seen Scotty yet, but
yeah, I mean, and then Takei isn't much in there yet. But I mean, those main 3 are very well defined.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess they expand with better casts. And the thing about Next Gen is they didn't really focus as much on the characters early on. They were trying to focus more on the plots, which improves.
Yeah, that's a mistake at the beginning.
Hey, they tried things out, man.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, they aren't really that defined yet, so they aren't as great as they will become. Like, Picard's French right now.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
Plot changed?
No,
I'm sorry, never mind.
It's one of those things, like, he's historically French, and they try to amp up his French ancestry and how proud he is of it. But then he later just embraces the whole Hamlet, Earl Grey.
Right, yeah.
Like, I'm British, whatever. It's not fooling anybody.
By the way, I'm Patrick Stewart.
And Patrick Stewart. Though they do go to, like, France on Earth sometimes later, which is fine. Looks about the same. A little more green.
All right.
Very interesting.
Yeah, 24th century France is the same. They even have, like, actually they have, like, 18th century farming clothes because the Picards are farmers.
Best budget ever.
That's why, Picard was...
Speaking of budget, the effects sucked in this episode.
Yeah. Oh.
Just as an aside.
Well, there you go.
No, that's a very good point.
Even for Trek, they were bad.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's pretty much it. But I guess next time we go back to TOS.
Yeah, man.
So that should be entertaining, as always. And eventually we'll get to Enterprise. Or the animated series Justin was thinking about.
Yeah,
I mean, either or, really.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe we'll try to fit them in there somewhere to get some thoughts on that. And maybe if you guys like what you see, we can substitute something. We'll see. I doubt that's going to happen, but you never know.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. All right. Well, farewell.
See you guys.
Till the next time.